Paul, you watched it. What were your...
I watched the Labour leadership debate. Shall I reenact it for you?
Do it.
Okay, I'm going to reenact the Labour leadership debate for you. Okay. I believe in this policy. I also agree with this policy too. We agree. But we need to be in power in order to be able to make these things happen. We're behind the Tories. Maybe that's because, no, we're not, we can have success, but we're divided now. You divided us. No, you divided us. And I think that's probably it. Maybe I'll left some key things out.
So, did we...
To unite. Unite behind me. No, unite behind me. I mean...
Did we learn anything?
Okay, repeat that for almost all the subjects, apart from a few Trident. And anti-Semitism, that was a big bone of contention.
Yeah, well that's, God, yeah, we need to talk about that. But I mean, that's, what were we expecting really? I mean, I don't know, I remember trying to watch debates in the run-up to the last general election, and it was just horrific. There's nothing is said. There's no substance to anything anybody actually says. There's no real reference to policies. It's just general, we're going to save you. This is a problem, and I'm the one to save you. This is a problem, and I'm the one to save you from it.
But at least people were, I mean, I don't want to say at least, it's not inherently bad they're on the same page. It's good they're on the same page. But they have the same policies. I mean, at least with the Conservatives,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Stuff, like, there's actually something to
except
debate.
Trident.
Didn't seem to be much to debate at all. And of course, that's a good thing. We are seeing two Labour leaders. One of them's going to win, and they're both saying, we've had enough of austerity. We're going to have massive investment. Austerity's failed. And let's look at the last Labour leader, Ed Miliband. I mean, this is a guy who campaigned on immigration control.
Yeah.
Who was pro-austerity, essentially. This is, I mean, fantastic news for anyone who believes that austerity has failed.
Definitely.
But to detract away from the policies, or not even to detract away from the policies, but the content of the policies, moving them to the side for a second, the fact that they have the same policies, right, and yet they're still fighting each other. Surely that's as a government, you're supposed to unite a country. You're supposed your role is essentially to work on behalf of the country. To listen to people, to take their views, to, I'm not going to say implement, based on what people say, but actually to govern the country. And what you're saying is you've got this great party which is full of people who share the same views, but they can't get on.
I mean, you're right. It highlights the point that the leadership race is between. Okay, under the surface, this depends on whether you believe what Owen Smith says. Really, under the surface, you would maybe expect Owen Smith to be a little bit. To tell a few fibs, maybe, to oversell it to an extent, because he is playing to the Corbyn crowd. So that's one thing that you have to bear in mind is whether you can believe either of them, really. If you want to, I mean, you can look at Corbyn's voting record, and kind of line up his policies and see that he's generally, I mean, you believe what he's saying. You believe that he means what he's saying. Whereas with Smith, it's not so cut and dry, I think. So that's one thing. The other thing is that it is basically about a combination of power, of the fact that the challenge is being made to take control of the party and to take control of the direction of the party, which is what most MPs want to change. Most MPs in the Labour Party are not happy with the fact that Corbyn is leader. That's made abundantly clear ever since he even started running for Labour leadership. But it does come down to the fact that they don't see him as the person that they want to take the party forward, they believe will take the party forward. But they can't really articulate that. They can't really say, what is it that they don't like about Corbyn? Like, what is it that they think he's incompetent? But what does that mean? Bad leader, what does that mean?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm a Corbyn supporter. Now, when I look at Owen Smith, I see a man under different circumstances I can imagine really getting behind. But if he's got the same, same kind of policies, he's not disagreeing with him ideologically or on policy, why has he resigned? Is it because of incompetence? It's hard to know. It's very possible that the parliamentary party have been able to see things that we couldn't.
Yeah.
But I'm just not convinced by this man. I mean, his background in PR for pharmaceutical companies doesn't exactly shouldn't discriminate because of that, but it doesn't encourage me.
Doesn't paint a good picture.
That's quite an elitist position, isn't it?
It is. It's worrisome. And he said in an interview actually that that's behind him. That he's changed since then. He's a reformed character. He said in an interview with a
reformed character.
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of
redemptive stories.
Because they know. I mean, he knows that's the. I was concerned that he didn't mention that from the beginning. Like that had to come out, and then he was asked about it. If you were running, if you were a smart politician, you would get out in front of that as soon as possible. You would announce that when you're running. Like, I've had this background, and you would immediately turn into some kind of sob story or some kind of redemption story.
But I mean, Labour are very comfortable with people getting filthy rich and all of that, and being part of it. I mean, being successful, having a good job. I mean, that's not necessarily an outright bad thing that you need to get out, like some kind of tax fraud in your past or something. It's just a kind of, I'm not sure that's the kind of guy I agree with kind of thing, It's more of a niggle, I think.
Yeah, and there's going to be another 8 of these fucking debates.
Can I just
5, I think, but
I think 9 in total.
But I don't know what they're going to talk about.
Yeah, they've covered it all already, surely.
You've both alluded to the fact that Corbyn generally, or has a good track history in standing by what he says. Okay, so when he makes an announcement, when he delivers a policy, whatever it might be that he's doing, you've said that historically he's delivered. Whether he's delivered 100%, whether he's delivered 80%, whatever the measure is, you seem to have a good level of faith in Corbyn. So surely part of being a leader is almost the ability to continuously deliver.
But when we say achievements and success, that's not really what I'm talking about deliver. I'm talking about a consistency of principle.
Yeah.
I believe what he says because that's how he's voted. That's what I mean when I have faith in him.
But why do people not support him within the Labour Party? What is it about him? I mean, one of the key principles of being a leader is being able to take people forwards to deliver. Now, if he can do it as a rebel, I'm not saying that you can translate that into...
I think there's 2 ways of looking at it, right? So there's one very strong narrative, which is that, he's too radical. He's too radical. His policies are too radical. He doesn't fit with Labour, New Labour, who have a very similar, more of a kind of centrist, and that's why they won't get behind him. They don't agree with him. They don't think Labour can win under those kind of policies, and that's what it looked like before. But now that you have essentially a Labour Party who seems to, depending on whether Owen Smith is going to change his mind once he gets in, it looks like policy's not the issue. So then it really does look like, if we believe Owen Smith and we believe that they're going to get behind him, that it's just a case of leadership, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Are the Labour Party going to move left and unite under this kind of similar set of radical policies that, frankly, Corbyn has laid the way for? Would we be seeing this Labour Party if it wasn't for Corbyn? That's hard to say.
That's the issue. I mean, he's definitely dragging the whole country left. And we can see with May as well, the support that he's gained for...
Is he dragging the country left, or did he provide a conduit for people to realise... I know when Corbyn came in, I realised, wow, for once, I feel like I can be part of mainstream politics. I'm not a crazy radical who no one agrees with. There's actually all of these people out there, massive swathes of the population, who do agree with these things, but felt, because of the general... we talk about the liberal bias most of the time, but I think a kind of more of a right bias in the media, in that we've accepted business's role in government, for example.
That's exactly what I mean. When I say he's dragged the left, I mean he's dragged the political discourse left among the politicians, among politicians in the comments. Not people, but it's interesting just in media as well, because that's been one of the... we could talk about that for a year, about Corbyn in the media, or about the Labour leadership in the media, or about any of the news from the Conservative split, for example, like when they were having fractures after Brexit.
Split? I don't remember any... Were they ever split? Oh, I don't think so. They seem united to me.
Yeah.
I'm impartial.
But that's the deal with the media, is that the media has been very right-wing since Thatcher came in. Essentially the right-wing media has helped to propagate the views of the conservative right and of conservative economics. And this is something that we're also saying is the media going to be dragged left? The reason we're here is we're trying to drag it a little bit leftwards. Not necessarily to add to any kind of propaganda or anything, but just to provide a spectrum a wide spectrum of discourse. That's what people need, I think. You need to have a challenge, and the media has not been challenging the establishment.
Widen the spectrum of debate, right?
Yeah.
To move those limits in which you can't talk about things. For example, I think Corbyn very much represented being beyond the limit of what was acceptable debate.
Exactly, yeah. He's forced that window, if you like, to widen.
The amazing thing is that he's succeeded in popularity despite the media. I mean, is that a symptom of social media and the importance of that over
I think it's a very
news?
true reflection of that. I think that the mainstream media, yes, of course, it does hold importance, it does hold value, and it does intrude on people's thoughts, and it can help guide which way people will, or it would help guide or help people understand. But I think social media certainly, and almost the widespread use of the internet now means that the mainstream media it's not going to be quite as important.
As influential, yeah.
Or as influential, yeah.